Okay, we're back. Part 5. We're doing the fuel pump hat. So I got the fuel pump out. So here it is sitting here. Um, I got to just transfer these things to that, and then I have to switch this plug with the factory plug inside the car, which I will do after I put it back in, because my main goal right now is to get the hat back in it, because right now there's no cover on the gas tank inside, so I'm gonna have to let this thing air out. But there's the access hole I cut. I got a cover for it. So we got 1 inch from the edge here, 7.5 inches that way, and 8 inches across, starting from 5/8 over from this bolt. So 5/8 over is your line here, and then 8 inches to this side. Okay, inside the tank, there is a hose that goes to the bottom. As you can see it right there, and then zip tied to it, you see those wires? There is a plug on there. So I'm going to cover that hole up with plastic right now. So I plugged that hole up so to minimize the fumes coming out of that tank. I mean, I could have swore the gas tank said 1/4, but the damn thing looks full. I've been kind of going back and forth, letting some of the gas keeps filling up in this bucket. So what I need to do, so this is plugged into that big hose I showed you at the bottom of the tank. That will come out of the tank, so you can reach it to undo it. And then this is the plug that goes to those wires down inside of there. So when this goes back together, you got to snap those two back together and before you put it all the way down. So you can see here, you got that locating tab. So there you have it. Okay, this is going to be, the black 90 is going to be for the aux. And there is a female male plug here. I got to take this female one off, and that will get put onto that one. But like I said, what I want to do is switch the parts over to this one so I can get this thing back in there and plug that hole back up, because I don't want the inside of the car smelling like gas. Okay, so here's right here, you can't see it's on camera, but I've got 2 E-clips off the bottom, and now we got this hose that's connected to the pumps at the bottom. Over here, this is the they call it the jet pump, and then there's this piece here that you have to go underneath and pry it up. It's kind of hard, so you don't break this, because you're going to take a screwdriver like this, stick it in there. I squeezed it here so I could pull up on it and pop it up. So with this kit, for me at this point, this is getting replaced, so I can just cut this off, and since these E-clips are out, I can just lift this off, and then after that I pull the pumps out, and then I can reconnect the new hose that's going to come up, and then it's an AN fitting coming to the top, and then it should be going back together, which is good, because I just want this thing back in there before too long. I got the doors open on the car to keep it, aired out. So I cut this hose with these snips here, and then the hat's going to come off. Now there's some E-clips in the top too that I got to get out. Not really sure how those come out yet, because I don't know if Neil knows how to push them off. So we'll find out, I guess. The rods are a little thinner at the top, so that goes to the top. Who knows, I might just cut this thing up to get them out. I don't know. It's more important that they get on the new one. The new one's got like slots, so it looks like you could get them on from. It's a lot easier than how this setup is. So after that, take these out. Now this is the first time I've ever had one apart, so from there, you just pop these clips and then pull it out. So it was just as simple as that. There's three. One that's got to be pulled out here, that's right next to the float level sensor, and then these two bigger ones that are real easy to see. So what he tells you to do at this point is cut this thing off of there, and then we're going to push the new one on, and he's got one of those clamps that you, this isn't the one, this is for something else, but clamp like this that you just use some side cutters and squeeze it. So I will get working on getting that off, and then we'll get the new one on, and then actually I'll start going back together. These got to get pulled out. There's some pins. They got to get switched around with the new hat's got its own plug. I'm not really sure why it's different, but whatever. So this is the new one, and so it looks like it's just one plug now. So they're all going to go into this, and I guess these pins just snap into this one. So we'll see there. And this is the new. Oh, that's the new hose. I just tightened it on here to test it, make sure it got tight all the way. And there's the hose clamp smashed. So when you're doing this, obviously, make sure you put this clamp on the hose first. And he wants you, as he described, to make sure this is pushed all the way flush, bottomed out, basically, so it doesn't go anymore. I can see it's a little work getting it on there. It is tight as fuck, but just got to keep pressing it. I am about a 1/4 inch from being on all the way. Okay, there's a little bit of a mofo to get on there, but it's on. So it was a lot of work twisting it. The one in the video he has looks like it's just this, but it's actually this. Looks like the factory piece and it's super tight. So I'm not seeing that fucking coming off anyway, easy. So now that this is on there, it's time that this is gonna go back in, and then this is gonna go get hooked back up. Oh, we'll have to do these wires then once this is dropped in. This is gonna sit up in there like that. Now you just have to kind of like bend this over because your ribs will catch the edge here. Kind of hard to push in if you don't move that. Looks like these other ones it's all snapped in. And this, they say you got to push super hard to get in there, harder than you think to get it to go in. But and then after that, we will put the new hat on. There you go. And then this is going to screw onto there. Yeah. Look inside to make sure it's not hitting nothing. Doesn't look like it. So you got to push really hard. And no, it did not go in yet. Okay, so I got this back in. I stopped the video just to make sure I don't break it so you can see it. But you got to push really hard, like they say. And it didn't even really make a snap sound. But I can tell it's in because, so there's a little snap-in thing at the bottom here that it snaps into. And this little slot that this sits in, it's bottomed out in this groove. It can't go down any farther. So, and if you want to check it, this just comes off. But it cannot slide down any more than it is. So I would say it's got to be all the way. Okay, so I got the new plug put on. This is coming from, these are the stock ones. So you have black A and B on here, and the other one is tan A and B. And I know that I think the black had the red and black, and the tan had blue and black, but it doesn't matter, the colors for this. So they're just strictly going by the letters because maybe the colors could be different on a different car, so they're just going based on the plug. So you have black A is going to be a new A on this connector, and the letters are on the sides of it. So A is right here. So the one that was in the A position on here is on A on there. The B position on black goes to C, which is right here, which is the red one. And then tan A, which was from here, goes to the new B, which is right here, which is the blue. And the tan B goes to D, which is right here. This is the D, which is the black from the tan. So now this can just plug into the hat, and then when I go, once I put the top back on, I can drop this back in pretty much. So all I got to do is get the E-clips off of this one, so I can get these rods out, and then, which I mean, this hat is nothing wrong with it. I'd hate to like destroy it, but I mean, who's gonna want this? So that's all I got to do. Let's get this thing off, these rods out, and get the springs and stuff, and switch the hat, plug this in, screw this on, add the that aux pump pickup, and then I can put it back in and put the ring back on, and at least the gas tank will be sealed up, and I'll probably finish it up then a different day. So I was able to pop these clips out with one of these, kind of offset. I was able to get in there, grab the like, these won't spin in there, so you're always grabbing the back part. It's always like the open end is on the inside because it's like up against the wall in there, so it can't do anything. So I guess whatever, I salvaged this lid. I don't know what it's good for, but so now I can assemble the hat. And so what we got here, there's a 90-degree Allen or an AN fitting here, a straight one here. That is for this. And yeah, so we'll get onto that. So I got one of these rods in already. It seems to be easy to get the groove lined up in the slot here. Grab the E-clip and with your big ass hands, try to get it set up on there. And then once it's just kind of resting there, you can take the flat of a screwdriver and like drop it on. Of course, the other one was super easy. So, and now that I got it recording, now it's gonna be a pain in my ass. Almost had that. Let's get the groove where you can see it. Okay, I'll admit it. After about 10 attempts, I got it. Just double checking it's on all the way. Now it's just, these would be a lot easier to put on, these bottom ones. Okay, bottom ones are way easier. So you just grab them and just push them on the slot. So I know he puts like an epoxy to keep it from leaking, which isn't a big deal. But just to test to make sure, because I had to tighten it. The epoxy was a touch on the thread, so when you tighten it, this wasn't getting tight, so that means it wouldn't have sealed all the way. So just make sure that's tight enough that this does not wiggle. There's the red here should be stuck, like stiff when this is tight all the way, because that means the flare is up against the AN fittings. So I just have to, I'm gonna plug this new connector plug I put on, and then there's this little safety lock that goes on it. And then I have to put this fitting on for that membrane that sucks fuel out of the bottom of the tank, which that should be fun putting that in, because the tank's, it's like 4 inches from the top of the hole. So I'm going to have to put my hand down in there. The front of it's held down by a magnet, super strong magnet, and then um, that catches the fuel tank strap. And then the other one you put in the front of the tank that actually sticks from the outside. So I got this nice and tight. It's like one with the blue, so it's not moving at all. So I can't think. This is just loose for now. I think it's ready to go back in, except for that membrane thing. Okay, so the part that I was thinking was the worst was not that. I was putting it back in the tank. So it's a little tight fit with all the hoses you got to connect and the wires and all that fitting back through the top hole. So you kind of got to finagle it up in there. But I got the lock ring tightened down. You can see the green gasket. It's a very tight fit as far as this ring, put it back. So this has to be repinned too. So I got to take this plug off so I can put the plug that goes with this, and then that's done. So that's just 4 wires too. So let me be back in a minute. Okay. All right, so this is simple. You're gonna take this stock white connector off, at least it's white on my car. And the wires that are in there in the same order, you're gonna put them into the other plug, and then that's it. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So I already have them depressed. All I have to do is pull that off and then pop them into this one. So I timed it one time, turned the key, and it started right up. So I don't see any leaks here. So here, the fitting there, I'm going to run, there's a gap through there, I'm going to run the aux line through there, and that will be it. So since this took a little longer video, I will do the aux part separate, but that's going to be super easy now as far as not having to drill into the tank. That was my main reason for this. I just didn't want to do that. So so here is the front locating magnet. So this is what's actually holding that fuel thing in there for the aux. The front magnet is sitting here, and this is the one that back. You can actually, I can hear it stretching it. So what I'm going to do is you can just pull this off, and I'll just like glue it there, and then that'll be it. So that was it for the. At first it moved, and I was able to find it, and you can actually move it around in there by moving this magnet just back and forth a little bit. You can kind of set it so it's running like this. So from here to there. So all right, well, that'll be it for this part, and I will be moving on to the actual aux pump later this week. All right, so that'll be part 6. Thanks.